Okay, right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Cabinet of Wednesday, the 13th of January. In accordance with the Coronavirus Regulations 2020, this meeting is being held virtually to facilitate attendance and enable the consideration of important matters during the COVID-19 situation. The meeting will therefore operate differently in that members of the Cabinet joining in remotely are able to continue and contribute and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones, please, unless they are invited to speak. If anyone wishes to speak, please use the hand up icon or send a message using the message icon indicating your wish to speak, and I will invite you in turn to turn on your microphone at the appropriate point. When you are finished speaking, please remember to turn off your microphone again. Following questions and a debate, in order to make a decision on the item, I will ask the Chief Executive to ask Cabinet members whether they are for or against the proposal or if they wish to abstain. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed by the Council website and will also be available to view by members of the public and the press who are allowed by law to film, audio record, take photographs, blog or tweet at this meeting. I will now ask all Cabinet members and scrutiny members present to introduce themselves in turn. I will start with myself, Councillor Maria Crompton, Deputy Leader of the Council. Councillor Ali?
Yeah, Councillor Ali, Cabinet Member for Resources and Core Services.
Councillor Millard?
Councillor Danny Millard, Cabinet Member for Inclusive Economic Growth.
Councillor Shaheen?
Councillor Farid Shaheen, Cabinet Member for Living Healthy Lives.
Councillor Singh?
Councillor Rajbir Singh, Cabinet Member for Skills and Employment.
Councillor Taylor?
Councillor Jackie Taylor, Cabinet Member for Sustainable Transport.
Councillor Underhill?
Councillor Joyce Underhill, Cabinet Member for the Best Start in Life.
Thank you. Scrutiny Chairs, Councillor Luke Giles? Is he?
He's not.
No, I can't see Councillor Giles. Councillor Elaine Giles? Yeah, I can see Elaine.
Councillor Elaine Giles, Chair of the Health and Adult Social Care Scrutiny. Can I put my apologies in for Councillor Luke Giles, please?
Okay, apologies for Luke, yeah, fine. Councillor Priest?
Councillor Priest doesn't seem to be on the call.
No, okay. Councillor Rollins, I can see she's on.
Councillor Laura Rollins, Chair of Economy, Skills, Transport and Environment Scrutiny Board.
Lovely, thank you. Okay, so apologies for absence. I've actually got here Councillor Alcock. Wasn't certain whether he'd get here. He may come in a little later, but at the moment he's not here. Councillor Moore, I've had apologies from, and Councillor Padder, and now Councillor Luke Giles has been offered apologies also. Are there any members to declare an interest in matters to be discussed today? No? Okay. So the minutes of the meeting held on the 9th of December are presented here today. I move them as a correct record. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Ali, can you second that for me? Councillor Ali, can you second the minutes, please? Put your mic on.
Sorry, my microphone. Yeah, I can second the minutes.
Thank you very much. Okay, so are they approved?
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Additional items of business. I'm not aware that we don't have any of those, so there are no additional items of business. Agenda item 5 is the review of council tenant rents and housing related property charges. In the absence of Councillor Alcock, I'll ask Councillor Ali to present that report, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, Deputy Leader. And just to give you a bit of background, the purpose of this report is that every year council tenants, leaseholders and other residents are notified of the rent and other related housing charges to be set from April. This report is to agree the revision of those charges for 21-2022. And the key recommendations I'm seeking from Cabinet today are to agree a significantly lower increase of council tenant rents by 1.5% in 2021-22, with effect from the 1st of April 21. This is a reduction of 0.5% from the initial planned increase of 2% agreed before the impact of COVID-19. Rent increase at the lower level of 2% or the movement in the consumer price increase plus 1% in financial years 22-23 and 23-24. Freeze housing service charges for 21-22 to mitigate the disruption to service delivery resulting from the council's response and mitigation to COVID-19 in the current financial year, and subject to negotiations with residents of the site to increase rent at the Travellers Pitch site in Hillside View, Tipton by 1.5% per annum with effect from the 1st of April 21. I'm happy to take any questions if there are any, but that's what I wish to move. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ali. Do we have any questions, anyone? No, I can't see any questions. In that case, we will now move to vote. Can the Chief Executive now call on each member and ask them to confirm their vote, please?
Thank you. Councillor Compton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Okay.
All in favour, Chair.
Thank you. Everyone's in favour, so that report is approved. We'll now move on to agenda item 6, which is the council tax base 21-22, and can I ask Councillor Ali to present that report, please?
Yeah, I apologise in advance, Deputy Leader. I think the next 3 are reports that I'm going to be presenting. So in relation to this particular report, this report is one of the key building blocks in the process of setting the council's budget. Each year, we're required to make an assessment of the number of properties in the borough that will be paying council tax. After taking into account of discounts and exemptions, then we have to convert that number into an equivalent number of Band D properties. This is known as a council tax base, and I'm recommending that the council tax recommend that the number of Band D equivalent properties for 21-22 is set at 74,387 and 79 pence for next year. When calculating the base, we usually assume that a 99% collection rate. As we know that this is ultimately achievable. However, next year will be tough for our residents. To allow for this, we have assumed a 98% collection rate when calculating the base for 21-22. This is a drop of 1%. The council tax base is lower than we had anticipated. We will explain the impact this has on our current medium-term financial plan in the budget report presented to Cabinet in the new year, well, this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ali. Have we got any questions, anyone? No? Okay, in that case, we'll move to vote. Can the Chief Executive ask the members for their vote, please?
Yes, Councillor Compton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
All in favour, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. In that case, that is approved. If we move on then to agenda item 7, which is the business rate retention forecast 21-22, and that is again, if Councillor Ali would present that report, please.
Thank you, Deputy Leader. This report is another key building block in preparations for the council's budget. It is similar to the previous report, but this time we're estimating how much business rate we're expecting to collect this year. The figure is estimated to be around 99.6 million, subject to any adjustments we will need to make following receipt of the NDR1 government return, which sets out the calculation formula. I'm therefore recommending that the business rate retention forecast is set at 99.6 million for next year, and that the acting section 151 officer is authorised to adjust the estimate to take into account any required changes following receipt of the NDR1 form. This business rate forecast is lower than we had anticipated. We will explain the impact this has on our current medium-term financial strategy in the budget report presented to Cabinet in the new year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Councillor Ali. Are there any questions, anyone? No questions? Okay, in that case, we'll move to vote. Chief Executive?
Thank you. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
All in favour, Chair.
Okay, thank you. That report is also approved. Okay, we move on then to agenda item 8, which is the Local Council Tax Reduction Scheme 21-22. And again, that's Councillor Ali.
Thank you again, Deputy Leader. Members will recall that the Council made significant changes to the operation of our Local Council Tax Reduction Scheme in April 2019. And this scheme has now been operating for almost 2 years. We should be proud that our scheme continues to provide 100% support for our lowest income households. We are the only council in the Midlands to offer this, and one of only very few nationally. This has been so important to our residents this year due to the pandemic, and will continue to be next year as the economy hopefully starts to recover. I'm therefore recommending that no changes are made to the Local Council Tax Reduction Scheme for 21-2022. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ali. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay. In that case, I will move to vote, and I'm sure that will be a very useful to a number of our residents over the forthcoming year. So we'll.
Thank you.
Can you move on to the?
Can move to the vote. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For. Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. That's in favour of the report approved for consideration by Council. And we'll move on then to agenda item 9, which are the changes to the appointed Chief Executive Officer of Sandwell Children's Trust and the extension of contract for a non-exclusive Director of Children's Services Trust Board. Sorry, non-executive, not exclusive. Read that wrong, didn't I? Okay, can I ask Councillor Underhill to present that report, please?
Thank you, Deputy Leader. These recommendations are actually coming to Cabinet as stated in the report to note the resignation of Francis Craven as Chief Executive Officer of Sandwell Children's Trust and Executive Director of the Trust Board. After an interview process, it is the intention of the Trust to appoint Emma Taylor as the new Chief Executive Officer and also agree the appointment of Emma Taylor as a member of the Trust Board. And Cabinet is also asked to agree to the extension of the contract for Vinita Manchanda as a non-executive director of the Trust for a period up to 2 years from 1/2/2021. I recommend to Cabinet.
Thank you, Councillor Underhill. Have we got any questions, everyone, regarding that? No questions. In that case, we'll move to the vote, please, Chief Executive.
Thank you. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Chair.
Okay, thank you. Everyone's in favour and that report is approved. We'll move on then to agenda item 10, which is school funding formula and delegated budget proposals 21-22. Can I ask Councillor Underhill to represent that report, please?
Right. Thank you, Deputy Leader. This report is coming from the Cabinet. The Education and Skills Funding Agency requires all local authorities to engage in consultation with all the maintained schools and academies in their area, as well as consulting with the Schools Forum about the pre-16 funding formula for schools. The local authority is, however, ultimately responsible for making the final decision on the formula. And following a number of years in consultation with all parties concerned, the Cabinet requested last year that the Schools Forum develop an approach to adjust the funding ratio between primary and secondary schools so that it moved towards the national ratio over a 3-year period. However, whilst changing funding ratios is a challenging discussion for schools, it is necessary to prepare primary schools for the changes that are going to occur when a national funding formula is introduced by the government. There are 7 recommendations in the report, all of which have been approved by the Schools Forum, and I also recommend them to the Cabinet for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Underhill. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay, in that case we'll move to the vote.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And everyone's in favour, so that report is approved. So we'll move then on to agenda item 11, which is the Kickstart programme. Can I ask Councillor Singh to present that report, please?
Thank you, Chair. Members, can I give you a background context before I present the report? Since January 2020 in Sandwell, there has been 7.4% increase in 18 to 24-year-olds claiming universal credit. And it is a lot higher than the regional and national average, which is at 5.4% and 5.5% respectively. Last year, our Chancellor announced a package of support known as the Kickstart initiative to tackle this rising unemployment, particularly amongst young people. The program is for 16 to 24-year-olds who are receiving universal credit and are at risk of becoming long-term unemployed. Now, as per the program, Sandwell Council has applied to the DWP to be an intermediary within the Kickstart initiative and to represent local employers to benefit from funding which can fully fund, though temporarily, with paid placements for our unemployed young people. Employers can receive the full salary costs for a 6-month placement paid at national minimum wage for 25 hours per week for each person they employed under the Kickstart initiative. The project offers a value for money as no match funding is required from Sandwell Council. As mentioned earlier, Sandwell Council is acting as an intermediary representing local employers to gain a financial contract worth £171,983. It was necessary to bring a previous report on this to the Cabinet for approval today. Now that the program is up and running, this report seeks to gain approval for officers to continue making applications to DWP for Kickstart programs up until December 2021, without having to have each individual application approved. This will ensure that we can work quickly with the Department of Work and pensions, employers, and young people to support them to paid employment without delay. Therefore, I present this report for approval from the Cabinet, and I'm happy to take any questions or comments on the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Singh. Very worthwhile report. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay, in that case, we'll move to the vote, please.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, and that report is approved. If we now move on to agenda item 12, which is the contract extension for the provision of security guarding and key holding services. Can I ask Councillor Millard to present the report, please?
Thank you, Deputy Leader. This report seeks approval to extend the contract for the provision of security guarding and key holding with Profile Security Services Limited for a one-year period commencing the 1st of April 2021. The current contract for the security guarding and key holding service was let for a two-year period from the 1st of April 2019 and is therefore due to expire on the 31st of March 2021. However, due to the current COVID restrictions, retendering the contract now will present several issues. It will be difficult to physically get contractors around our buildings due to what the COVID restrictions that are in place, which would make them doing an accurate costed proposal difficult. Our current provider knows our asset base and is working well with the relevant service areas. To consider bedding in a new provider would be problematic during the difficult period that we're in. So if we wait another 12 months, by that time we'll have made changes within the asset portfolio. Therefore, the service to be procured will look really different. Therefore, if we delay it for the 12 months, it enables us to maximise efficiencies and obtain optimum value for the money when we do retender. Finally, our current provider has confirmed that they will hold their fees and charges at the current agreed rates through to the expiry of the extended contract in March 2022. Given the above recommendations, I hope you approve the report in line with them. Thanks very much, Deputy Leader.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Millard. Any questions, anyone? No? Okay, in that case, we'll move to the vote, please.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain. For. Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Okay, thank you. That's everyone in favour, so that report is approved. We'll move on then to agenda item 13, which is Sandwell Safeguarding Adults Board Annual Report. And I believe that's Councillor Shaheen will be presenting that report.
Yeah, hi, thank you, Deputy Leader. Sandwell Safeguarding Adults Board has a statutory responsibility to ensure that agencies continue to work together to effectively safeguard and promote the welfare and well-being of adults with needs for care and support living in Sandwell. The board is also required to produce an annual report which sets out key areas of activity and learning retrospectively, identifies the priorities moving forward. The annual report was presented to Health and Social Care Scrutiny Committee, and the Cabinet report provides an overview, and you are being invited to note the annual report. And with that, I recommend that you note the context of this report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Shaheen. And have we got any questions from anyone? No, no questions. In that case, we'll move to vote.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you everyone. That report is approved. So we'll move on then to agenda item 14, which is the flood risk management plan measures for 2021 to 2027. Can I ask Councillor Taylor to present that report, please?
Thank you, Deputy Leader. The report that you have in front of you today seeks approval for a set of Sandwell flood risk management plan measures for the period of 2021 to 2027. These measures actually represent a second set of measures following publication of the first set in 2016, which covered the period up to 2021. The objectives of these flood risk management plan measures are fourfold. Firstly, it will enable Sandwell to build on the succession of what has been delivered to date. Secondly, it will provide more support to residents that are at risk from flooding, particularly those vulnerable residents with greatest need. Thirdly, it will improve flood risk management in new developments. And finally, it will improve the health, well-being and economic prosperity of residents across the borough by ensuring flood risk is appropriately managed. Development of flood risk management plan measures is a statutory obligation. The Environment Agency will coordinate the production of the measures, working with all lead local authorities, ensuring Sandwell working with the Environment Agency in this way is beneficial to it gives visibility to flooding in Sandwell within a natural framework, and this will increase the likelihood that we can secure future funding to develop aspiration. Cabinet approval is sought in advance of the National Measure Development Freeze date in mid-January, which of course is this month, 2021. I therefore recommend that this report be approved in line with the recommendations. Thank you, Deputy Leader.
Thank you very much, Councillor Tyler. Have we got any questions, anyone? Yeah, quite down, haven't we? Okay, thank you very much. In that case, we will move to vote.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. And with that, that report is approved. And that brings us to the end of proceedings today. So at that point, I will close the meeting and thank everyone for their attendance. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leader.
Thank you.